Horses inspire us, they challenge us, and they elevate us. As equestrians, we live in pursuit of that magical sweet spot where sport and art intersect. And very often, it's only through peeling away layers of fear, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and destructive thought patterns that we can truly arrive there.
Understanding basic neuroscience and the physiology of fear should be fundamental to the education of every rider. Fear is a really powerful alarm system that keeps us safe. I love to use the example of a house with a great alarm system. When a burglar comes, the lights go on, the noise starts, and the authorities are notified, right? The house is prepared to handle the threat. As soon as the burglar goes away, the lights go out, the noise subsides, and everything's quiet again. This is how our fear is supposed to operate. We are supposed to be prepared when there's a threat to respond, and then when the threat goes away, we're supposed to go back to calm and be able to go on with our ride. So how do we intercept it when this alarm system starts to misbehave, which quite often it does? It'll either go on and it'll stay on for too long. Our sympathetic nervous system might be activated in response to a spook. And then our brain starts to think, okay, what if my horse spooks again? What is it? And you start to get very watchful. We become very sensitive to all different kinds of stimuli. And in that case, quite often, the alarm just stays on, okay? There's lots of noise. We're holding our breath. We are unable to stay focused and ride well when this alarm is continually on. So we need to understand how to work with our nervous system and with our brain chemistry in order to be able to shut that alarm off when there's no longer a threat. So when you leave the performance project, you are going to leave with a whole bunch of different tools for turning that alarm system off and intercepting the fear cycle at the level of the body. You're going to have tools to help yourself physiologically be able to get your alarm system working properly and your brain and your nervous system working in harmony to keep you safe, but allow you to ride your very best.
The Performance Project is an online course that lasts 6 months, but it represents a transformation that lasts a lifetime. It gives you the experience of having a personal trainer for your life, a personal trainer dedicated to helping you be who you need to be for your horse, who challenges you to move through the tough stuff and inspires you to get the absolute most joy out of your riding and your connection with your equine partner.
The Performance Project has really changed the way I think, the way I ride, and how I look at life in general. When I first started the course, I knew I had competitive goals in my riding, but I also had a lot of self-doubt. I used to let the itty-bitty-shitty committee in my head determine how I felt. Well, now, it's not like I don't have self-doubt anymore. It's just that now I know what to do with it. I look through a different lens. I have clarity about what I want and what is important to me.
How do we overcome self-doubt? As human beings, we are hardwired for growth and we are hardwired for survival. We have a voice in our heads that advocates for the status quo, that tries to keep us safe, tries to prevent us from taking risks, making a fool out of ourselves, or failing. We also have a voice in our head that wants us to evolve, to achieve, to play big, to live the life we're meant to live. Day in and day out, these two voices battle it out in our minds. As riders, it's particularly important that we be able to identify these two different voices. The voice of our inner critic is the one that tries constantly to keep us safe. It's the voice that says we're not good enough, we're not ready, we're not as good as everyone else, we're not good enough for our horse, we're not going to be able to ride well enough to please our trainers. The inner coach voice is the voice of our dreams and our ambitions. It's the one that sets goals. It's the one that understands our inherent wisdom, and it's the voice of our self-regard. What we do in the Performance Project is we really develop that inner coach voice so that it becomes more powerful than your inner critic. You're never going to get rid of your inner critic voice because it's a benevolent voice. It actually kept you safe and kept you from touching a hot stove or running across the street and getting hit by a car when you were younger. Now, as you grow older, it actually keeps you from taking risks you need to take in order to live the life you want to live. So developing this inner coach voice is the most powerful way to overcome self-doubt. And this is one of the main outcomes of participating in the Performance Project that I think is the most sustainable and has the most lifelong impact for most people.
The Performance Project takes you on a journey. Along the way, you learn practical, science-based tools that are easy to implement. You retrain your brain. You become as emotionally supple as your horse, and you increase the capacity of your nervous system to handle all the things. Whether you long to gallop on the beach, hack fear-free with your friends, progress past a plateau, or compete at the highest levels.
So as riders, how do we intercept this fear cycle and get into our ideal performance state or into the zone so that we can ride our very best and be as connected with our horses as we want to be? This is the question that I address in the Performance Project. The first way that you can intercept the fear cycle is through the mind. And it's really important to understand that you can train your brain. It's easy for us as human beings to feel at the mercy of our own thoughts and to let them run around unsupervised in our minds. But when you can have a thought that is a constructive, empowering thought rather than an automatic negative thought, what that does is it triggers a different emotion. What was nerves or fear can now become a feeling of energetic calm or inspiration or love or joy that then triggers mood enhancing hormones in your system, things like endorphins or dopamine or oxytocin. And these all contribute to feelings of empowerment, connection, and joy. When these are released into your system, you become automatically more athletically available, able to be responsive to your horse, able to think logically about what it is you want to do, and suddenly you will have actually intentionally shifted yourself from the fear cycle into what I call the power cycle or the zone. And developing this habit over time, changing this habit from the fear cycle to the power cycle is what we focus on in the Performance Project and what you'll get really good at once you learn the strategies and the tools that you can use to make this happen.
Fear doesn't get to stop you if you're willing to stand toe-to-toe with it, armed with courage and the right tools.
I have riders come to me all the time that say things like, I want to get enough confidence so that I can go on a trail ride with my friends, or I want to build enough confidence so I can move up to the next level, or I want to build enough confidence so that I can set a goal of achieving my bronze medal, or I want to build enough confidence so that I can try for the Olympic team. All of these represent an idea that you need to have confidence first before you can do the hard, scary things. And I always hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I always am, because what I learn over and over, both for myself and working with other riders, is that it's really courage that comes first. And it's not about setting out to build confidence. It's about setting out to access the courage we need in order to do the hard things, despite fear, despite discomfort, despite not feeling ready. And that's where confidence comes from. So when you look around and you see other riders that seem like they are doing all the fun things, all the hard things, because they have confidence, I am telling you right now, they're doing all of those things because they have had the courage to do the things despite feeling fear. So this is one of our mantras in the Performance Project, is that courage comes before confidence.
I found the Performance Project when I was really struggling to overcome a past traumatic experience. I had had a very bad fall that left me hospitalized with a collapsed lung. And even with a new horse, I could not get over my fear. But through the Performance Project, I learned to face those fears strategically with an understanding of how to get through them. I was able to retrain my brain with concrete tools that my instructor loved. Once I was able to get through that fear, with all the tools and strategies I had in my toolbox, I accomplished a goal that I never thought I would even have the courage to set. My horse Thunder and I won a training level freestyle championship that brought me even more joy than I ever thought was possible.
Having run the Performance Project for several years now, I get messages almost daily from riders describing how their lives have been changed by it. Whether you want the freedom of knowing you can go on whatever adventures you want to with your horse, are ready for competitive success at a new level, crave a deeper bond with your equine partner, or just want to train and learn and ride unencumbered by fear and self-doubt, the Performance Project quite simply works. Once you enroll, I will have your back as you claim everything that's on the other side of whatever's in your way.